Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Backstage with Angelo. And of course, as every week, I'm bringing you this section of beauty queens with beautiful, amazing, creative, hardworking, and driven women that are making positive differences in their communities. And before we get started tonight or today, I wanted to remind you guys to click on the subscribe button and on the bell so that you can get notifications on new content that I'm be posting every week, as you know. And why not? Let's just give it a like and share. My guests are amazing. I'm just saying. So they deserve to be shared and seen by everybody else. So share, okay? So tonight I am with my guest is an indigenous 16-year-old high school student from a small town in Alberta, and she is promoting the movement of Imagine a World of Kindness, which is a platform that ignited the movement of intentional acts of kindness. And she's our reigning Miss Echo Team Canada. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Janaya Iverson. How's it going?
I'm very well. How are you?
I'm fine. I'm staying warm and trying to stay safe. What have you been doing? Same thing?
I'm a grade 10 high school student, and I live in a small town in Alberta. And so, pretty much just going to school, and I do my charity work and going to work. I'm a hostess at Brown Social House, so I love doing that. And then just being with friends too. Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Gotta be a regular.
With that?
Gotta be a regular kid sometimes too, on the side of everything else I do.
Stop working, come on. Get out there and do nice stuff, for fun. That's the thing, like, you guys, since a very, very young age, you start with big responsibilities. You gotta work on stuff, learn to speak really, really well. And people don't know that, but we're gonna get to that point. I just wanted to point out that I've been traveling a lot recently, to the superstore, to Walmart, IKEA, and to the kitchen, especially to the kitchen. But that's another topic for another conversation. So, Janaya, a little bird told me that you just got your driver's license. Hmm?
Yes. I just got my driver's license about 2 weeks ago, but I'm not allowed to drive because we live in Alberta, so the roads are horrible right now because we're finally getting our winter, so the road conditions aren't very good. So my mom doesn't trust me as a new driver to get a car to be able to drive on the road. But as soon as I get I have my license, but as soon as I get a car, then I can start driving myself places, and maybe I can drive to the mountains or wherever I want to go.
Yeah, I was gonna ask about Banff, but I guess that's a question for another time. I'm really surprised. Like, do you do the computer-based test?
Well, first I had my lessons on through online, and then I had to do in-car lessons, and then I did an in-car test.
Oh, okay, because I don't know. I know that first you need to do the computer-based, and then you do the road test. So basically, you're just fully approved. Mm-hmm. But my point is that because I don't know, I find it so hard. I mean, the computer-based examination, I have so much trouble with that. Like, it's so difficult for me to be in front of a computer reading. Do you get the same thing, or not really?
Yeah, like last year when COVID first hit, and being a high school student, I had to switch to online. I've never really done that before, so it was a completely new thing to me, and I'm just not that type of learner. I need a teacher in front of me lecturing, and so I can stay more focused. Sometimes I like to get distracted by things, and then I can just get more, I don't procrastinate as much, and I'm more driven to do my schoolwork.
Yeah, so it's, that's kind of old school, but I really appreciate to see young people, thinking that way because right now I'm like, oh, I have so much trouble. Like I'm going to school as well and going to the computer. Like, of course, you need to do some things on the computer, but like having class on the computer and then have to do the schoolwork on the computer, that's kind of a lot. And then you also go to Amazon and to buy stuff, and you go to the computer.
Everything
Jeez,
is on our computers now. We're on our phones. So when we're doing our schoolwork and we're supposed to be doing our work there, well, we have all these distractions too, and yeah, and just being at home too, all the distractions there. So I understand that.
yeah, it's horrible for a 40-year-old guy, right? So okay, so Janaya, I know that you come from you're originally an indigenous from the Cree tribe. Is that the right word?
Not tribe. I'm actually blanking on the word right now, but land, I guess you could say.
Land. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
I'm actually come from Treaty 8 in northern Alberta. I'm actually native on my mom's side, and so I'm Cree, and I come from Boyer River. And I'm
Nice.
learning about that every single day.
So do you speak any Cree? Like, can you tell us something in Cree?
No, I don't speak any Cree. But no, me and my mom are learning more about it every day, and yeah, it's a very unique and different culture. I was actually growing up, I never really wasn't grown up like that. Like, I grew up in a small town in Alberta, like away from that. But now I want to go back to my roots, and I want to learn more about who I am to figure out really who I am and about more about my identity and about like my ancestors. So every day I'm learning more about it, and I just feel so connected to my culture, and I feel so proud about it, where before I didn't know anything. But yeah.
And I especially like to hear those stories, and I appreciate the different cultures, like the nations, because it's like the costumes are so colorful. There's a lot of tradition. They have their own language. Like it's a whole culture on its
Actually,
own, and it's
like,
amazing.
I feel like I've learned already so much, but compared to how much there actually is to know about it, I don't know anything yet. I still have a very, very long journey to get to the point where I want to be. And I want to be able to teach my kids one day about it too, to keep it going and pass down those traditions and the stories.
I think those are one of those things that they're so valuable that you need to pass through the next generations, and it cannot just stay in one generation. It needs to pass and over the years.
Yeah.
Like, that's so rich, and that's so important for for countries to keep their identity, to people to know where they're from, and to promote that to their
Exactly. Me and my mom actually, we started this journey of going back to our roots and learning more about the culture ever since my grandma passed away in October of 2019. I was very close to her, and she grew up, she went to the residential schools, and so did my great grandma. And so I really wish I would have learned a little bit more from her, but we just never talked about it. We kind of almost forgot about it a little bit. But now that she's gone, the more I'm learning about it, the more I feel not only connected to like the culture, but connected to her as well. So it feels very comforting too.
Yeah, and to be honest, the reason I was asking if you spoke Cree is because I wanted to switch to Cree this interview. No, I wish I knew. You know what? Because I'm going to school for psychology, and I had the freedom to choose some courses, and there's one for Aboriginal studies, and I was like, this is interesting. So I got in and I started to see all the courses, and it's for the Métis. They teach Métis, I think. And I was like, I would really like to learn about the language. Of course, maybe I'm not going to, because at this age it's really difficult to start doing languages, but at a professional or a native level, like probably for me Spanish or English that I learned when I was very, very young. But I found it really interesting. So I was like, this would be, really nice to be able to speak, a native language. So
No,
it was
there's one word I know, and that's tanze, and that's hi. So,
Tansei.
yes,
Tansei.
yes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for sharing that. I'm pretty sure more people are going to try that. It's well, I'm interested in languages, so
the language.
it's really interesting. So, Janaya, you see my background, right? I showed you before we started the interview, and I want to go to that side now because I've had a couple or probably three more guests before this interview, and we were talking about this part of the mental health, bullying, and this topic that is really
Oh yeah.
yeah. So and this is a movement that you started. It's Imagine a World of Kindness. I would really like to know more about it, how it started, what it is about, and what do you do with it? Like, what do you do for it?
All right, so I actually started this project. Well, I call it a platform really because it kind of has mini projects with it as well. But I started this platform about a year ago now because I used to be, my platform used to be about muscular dystrophy because my older sister Candace has muscular dystrophy. So I wanted to support that and raise money for that and support my local fire department. And then I met another girl who, her name was Jenia. She passed away, but she went through DIPG. It was a rare child's brain cancer. So then I was also promoting that. And then I was also promoting for the Children's Wish Foundation. And then it was just, and then mental health too. So many things and so many people crossed my path. And I learned so much from all these people, and I wanted to support everybody. And so I was like, well, how am I supposed to do this? Like, I'm going to introduce myself and I'm going to say, oh, I support this and this and this and this and this. And so I started putting my thinking cap on. And everything that I was about and everything that I helped with, it all connected under this umbrella of kindness. And I got this book was gifted to me. It was called Am I Being Kind? And so I read it, and it really changed my perspective on what kindness is. I learned it's actually more than just a kind gesture of opening a door for someone. It's a way of living. It's a way of being kind to yourself, others, and the earth, animals, everywhere. And you can be kind in every aspect of your life. And so this really changed my way of thinking. And so I realized this is what I want to promote. I was like, this is what is going to change the world. This is what I want to do. I want to promote kindness, because if everyone was being kind, it's almost impossible to for that to happen. But that is my goal, to share kindness with everyone, because it's like a butterfly effect. When you're kind to someone, they're going to be kind to the next person, and to teach people about how kindness is more than just a kind gesture. It's being kind to yourself, others, and the earth. And so that was really my inspiration for starting the platform. And then I got the name because I kind of like old music. I like 80s and 70s kind of music. And so my favorite is John.
Nice.
And so my favorite song, of course, is Imagine. And so I kind of played off of lyrics from that song, Imagine all the people living in a world. Yeah, so I kind of played that off with kindness, and hence the title, Imagine a World of Kindness. So the goal of the project is to not only imagine living in a world of kindness, but make that a reality. And I
think it takes...
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's okay. I just keep talking. I started many projects with that. So yeah, it just kept growing, and now it just keeps growing and just keeps becoming this bigger and bigger thing, and I'm just really proud of that.
And I think that happens because people, deep inside, I'm including myself and everybody else, because I think it's this is gonna sound like a cliche, but it's a good movement. Okay, but what people don't know and don't realize is that subconsciously we need that, and we want it. Deep inside ourselves, we want people to be kind to us, and because we need it. But people need to realize that you need to start somewhere.
You care.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's, as you said, you started it and it's growing because it takes one person to do it,
Hmm.
and then somebody else is gonna take it and they're gonna share it. It's like a chain, like like a a network of people doing the same thing. Have you experienced any change in someone that is very close to you, or what have been the outcome that you have experienced, that you have witnessed
Well,
from
actually,
this movement?
I started a project, Kindness Rocks. So I painted a bunch of rocks, and we put positive messages on the back, and we linked it to this Facebook page, Spreading Kindness Rocks. And so that was the title of the project under the umbrella of Imagine a World of Kindness. And so along our road trip across Canada, where we drove from Alberta to Toronto for the Miss
Wow.
pageant, we left rocks everywhere we stopped, and I got to meet all these different people, and I gave them rocks, and I learned about their stories, and just, I don't know, it made me so happy to give someone this rock. And even though it's just a rock, we have rocks everywhere, but because of what the rock meant, just seeing people smile and like how much it just uplifted their day, it made me so happy. And then we also just planted rocks in random places too. So I would just leave it somewhere for someone to find too. So it just, be a nice little surprise. And I also gave it to people, and I ended up planting almost 200 rocks across Canada.
Wow.
It was, yeah, and so it kind of just took off like a chain, like the butterfly effect I was talking about.
Now,
Yeah.
you do these rocks, so like you grab the rock, and I think I saw one of the rocks, and you paint everything that's in the like on the rock, because I know it has a message.
It has meaning, purpose, yeah. And
Yeah,
it
and
also showed the message that kindness is free, because rocks are free. You probably have paint in your house. And just giving someone like a rock is free. And it's a nice, kind gesture. So it shares the message that you don't need to spend loads of money or put lots of energy even into being kind. You can just, it's simple.
sometimes money, like, um, in the smaller things, you can find more comfort and you can find more kindness,
Mm-hmm.
just for the fact that you're giving something valuable to
Mm-hmm.
someone, and people get to feel that, like, how something is, it's valuable for you, and they get it. And especially in
Yeah.
these times that I've seen, um, young people that they are going through, the bullying thing, and people that are not satisfied with how they look, and they
Mm-hmm.
start being so hard on themselves. And you talk about being kind to oneself. That's a
Mm-hmm.
really important message.
That's really important, and it connects again with mental health too. Saying those kind words not only to others but to yourself too every day, and treating yourself the way that you deserve to be treated.
That's true. Now I have another question in regards to the rocks. Um, you carry 200 rocks.
Yeah,
How
I have
big
a
are
bucket in the back of our truck
they? Oh my
because
god.
I had all my luggage. Oh, I'm a pageant girl, so I had like at least 10 suitcases full of like my shoes and my dresses and everything. So I personally took up the whole trunk to myself. And then also we brought buckets, like the paint buckets of rocks. And that's how we carried these rocks across Canada.
Wow, that's because if it's 200, and they're heavy. I mean,
Yeah,
I
the
don't know
rock. Yeah.
exactly this. Yeah, there is. I don't know how heavy they are exactly, but they must be heavy. And
Yeah.
200, it's so that's you did that last year.
Well, yeah, this summer, I guess. Yeah.
Last summer. Yeah. So how did COVID affect? Because I'm pretty sure without COVID, you could probably, you would probably be able to do way more things, but
Yeah.
and even that only, right? But how did COVID affect that? Because going, across Canada and taking care, like, special care to not be too close to people, but at the same time wanting to be so close to people.
Yeah. Well, COVID honestly didn't really affect my Kindness Rock campaign too much because it wasn't exactly like direct contact with a lot of people because I also left the rocks in random places. So it's not like I was like, yeah. And like when I was like handing rocks to people, of course, like having your mask on and stuff. And because it was during the summer, the restrictions with COVID-19 were a lot like less than what they are now or what they have been, and so it was a lot more chill, I guess you could say. So I really didn't run into too many problems with that.
And I know that you work on this platform for the pageant because you went to Miss Teenage Canada.
Mm-hmm.
You competed in Miss Teenage Canada, and you placed.
Actually, so last year, not this last summer, but the summer before that, I went to Miss Teenage Canada and I got first runner-up. And so then I decided I'd try again this year, and so I went again, and this year I got second runner-up. But so still top 3, so I'm still super proud of myself. And so out of doing that competition, I got scouted and got called to represent Canada at the Miss Echo Teen International pageant in Egypt when I went in November. So, yeah.
And how was that experience? Because it's not the same to represent yourself.
It was absolutely incredible. I have been doing pageants for about 6 years now, and everything I've been doing, I've been working up to this point. I always wanted to be Miss Canada something, so I could go and represent Canada on an international stage. And just like the pride that I felt to be able to wear the Canadian banner across my heart and yell Canada on the stage was just like the best feeling in the world. And I also got to go to Egypt. Like, that was pretty cool. And I honestly never expected this ever in my entire life, that I would be traveling across the world in the middle of a global pandemic to represent my country on the international stage. I still wake up surprised. I still wake up and I'm like, that actually happened, and I'm like, no, it didn't. I'm like, yeah, it did, Janaya. It's crazy.
Were there so many restrictions in Egypt, or were they a little bit more relaxed about it? How was it there?
Well, because of like the culture, when I got there, it's like a culture shock. It's, I was on the other side of the world, and they live completely different than the way we do. And so their restrictions and the way of their like thinking of all this was a lot different than the way it is in Canada. So we didn't really wear masks really anywhere and stuff, except for when we were like in buildings or like at like big tourist spots, I guess. But when taking pictures, you could take your mask off, and like everyone there, like, because it was also COVID, there was also nobody there. So we were honestly very isolated, so I didn't have to worry really too much about the social distancing with a lot of people, because I really wasn't in contact with a lot of people. And even it was crazy because most of these temples and pyramids, there's normally millions of people, and our tour guide told us that. And at one temple, we were like, it was me and my mom that went, and we were the only people there. It was so weird to walk like around this temple and looking at all like the temples that were built like in BCE. It was, and to be the only people there, it was really weird. Like, yeah, and
must be a great experience. Like, visiting. So sorry.
I'm probably one of the only people that will ever actually be able to experience that too, going to the temples and pyramids and being one of the only people there. I got pictures with nobody around me. It's crazy.
I think I saw some of those. I was like, this is awesome. Mm-hmm. But the fact that you also get to enjoy it and also be in a pageant.
I learned so much, and I actually got to spend my 16th birthday there, which was absolutely incredible. Oh man,
who does that, right?
Yeah, right. And so
you don't get that every time.
We ended up spending 3 weeks there, so almost a month in Egypt. We were originally supposed to be there only for a week, but because COVID was so bad at home and we were just going into our second lockdown and they shut schools down and everything, my dad called us and he said it was honestly just safer for us to stay over there because the numbers were a lot lower and it was a lot more safer over there. So we just stayed there and enjoyed our time and did our touring. It was incredible.
So you get to the pyramids, like the safe pyramids?
Yeah, the pyramids of Giza, and I thought, it was crazy.
What about the competition, Janaya? Was that was that hard? Was it like really
Yes.
friendly competition?
A lot of the countries, like the girls from the other countries, were very nice, and I actually ended up becoming like best friends with my roommate South Africa and Miss USA. They're absolutely incredible. I still talk to them every day, and yeah, it was really cool. It's different. Like, I've made friends before at national pageants, but it's completely different to make friends at international pageants. Me and my friend Jordan from South Africa are now planning a trip to be able to go like see each other, and yeah, it was really cool. But I really got my eyes open too to what world competitions are actually like, because like, yes, everyone was very nice and stuff, but because it is a world competition, it was still like a heavy competition, and everyone was giving it their all, and everyone was going hard, everyone was prepared, everyone had the best dresses, best costumes from their countries, and so I was literally competing the best of each of their countries. So of course it was like nothing I've ever experienced. I wasn't even expecting to make top 10. I honestly was there to learn and for the experience, because I want to go to more international competitions, but I ended up making top 6, and my mind was completely blown.
And you know what? Like that's how many girls were there in the pageant? Do you remember?
I think there was like 30.
Okay, and you made top 10. So that's
Yeah.
that's a third. It's really hard when there's like so many girls to make a top 10 in an
Yeah.
international competition.
And they all did competitions in their own countries too, just to be able to represent their country.
Exactly, which means that you gotta keep trying other pageants.
Mhm. Mhm.
Because I also know that you want to become Miss Universe in the future. Actually,
Yeah.
in your answer in Miss Teenage Canada, you mentioned that you wanted to, like, you had a role model and you wanted to be a role model, but you also wanted to, one day become Miss Universe. How's that? What's the plan?
Well,
Tell us.
first, I have pretty much been planning since I could, well, since I could walk and talk. I have been dreaming of being Miss Universe. I watch it every single year. I swear I am the biggest fangirl of Miss Universe. Like, I honestly watch Miss Universe pageants in my free time, and I study it over the years, and I'm so dedicated to it that my goal is to one day be Miss Universe. I have a 10-year plan I've been working on since that has been in action since I was about 11 years old, and that I'm going to be Miss Universe one day, and I have a road plan on how I'm going to get there. And every day is just making myself one step closer to accomplishing that goal.
And that's how you get it. Like, you're still 16, you still have a lot of pageants to be at. Like, so much you can do, so much time to prepare academically, to still do pageants, to enjoy life. So yeah, you definitely gotta take it. But you know what, sorry.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I want to promote my platform more too, about kindness, so I can get to that Miss Universe level, and then once I'm Miss Universe, I can take my platform and blow it out of the ballpark and make it international.
And I'll be, putting my hands together when I see you there in Miss Universe. But Janaya, I remember that you mentioned about your costume. You said, well, there were so many girls with amazing costumes, and I especially like the one that you wore during the talent competition. You want to tell us a little bit more about that costume, which is amazing, in my opinion?
All right, so for my talent competition, I wanted to bring something that was Canadian, and I thought I normally, for my talent competition, I am a self-taught auctioneer, so I like to do auctioneering for my talent. And I was thinking about it, and I was like, if I go to this other country and I start yelling numbers on stage, I think people are just gonna get confused. Like, that could be very confusing. I don't really want to do that. And so I wanted to bring something that actually represented also the Canadian culture. And so I am First Nation, so I wanted to bring something from the First Nations culture, as the First Nations were the first people of Canada. So my regale was red. It was the dress I wore. And it was red to represent the missing Indigenous women and men of North America. And then I did a jingle dance for my talent because the jingle dance is the dance of healing. It is a prayer of healing, actually. And so I want to share that with the world and share that onto the international stage, especially in the year of COVID and the year of 2020, when I feel that that's really what we need this year is healing. And so just the significance of doing that on stage, and just I felt so proud to be able to do that. I think it was actually one of my favorite parts of the competition.
Yeah, you get to show more of the culture, the Canadian culture, and
And I actually
show
also
to the
made
people.
top 10 for that too, so I was very proud of that.
So you made top 10 for the talent competition, and then you made top 10 in the finals.
Yes, and I made top 10 for the fitness competition, and I can't remember what other competition. There was another one. Oh, and the eco dress competition. Oh my goodness, that was even really cool too. We had to make a dress out of waste. So I made a dress out of red and white plastic, and I had a crown of red and white zip ties. That was so fun to make. And we made it homemade too. It was really fun.
How long did it take you to build that one? So you brought that to Egypt, right? Like you did it here, you made it here, and you brought it to Egypt.
Yeah, well, it was easy to carry. Well, actually, Mom made me carry my headband on the plane, but I had because it was just plastic, so it was lightweight, so it was hard to pack in the suitcase. But I got a call 10 days before leaving for Egypt that they wanted me to represent Canada at the Miss Echo Teen International pageant, and they called me and they're like, "So can you leave for Egypt in 10?" And I looked at Mom and I was like, "Can we do it?" And she was like, "We're doing it. This is like a one-time opportunity." And those 10 days were the most intense 10 days of my entire life. I thought the competition was intense. No, it was the preparation. Every day I was waking up at like 6 o'clock in the morning, and our day didn't end until midnight because there was so much preparing to do and making all the costumes. It took the whole 10 days. Like, I think we were actually finishing making the costume as we were driving to the airport too. Yeah, just in preparation to be able to wear a costume on stage and be prepared. It was intense.
So you work really well under pressure, looks like.
I don't know if I really work very well under pressure, but my mom sure does, and she kicks me to work well under pressure, so she's my big push.
And it's really important to count on, family support. Mm-hmm. Because sometimes you have fans and some friends, but it's not the same thing. Like, you also need your family support. So has your whole family, other than your mom, which obviously has been very supportive on your journey to pageants. Somebody else in the family, friends?
My whole family is very supportive, but especially my mom. She's both my right and my left arm, and she keeps me going every day. So I would not be able to do any of this without her. I think family support is one of the number one things you need, especially in this industry.
Yeah, because if you cannot appreciate that, how would you probably appreciate the support from the fans, right? Like, people are there supporting pageants. I think everything starts in the house from the family. Now, Jenia, in the competition, what was the hardest part? Like, what was the part where you said, or you thought, well, this is getting out of control, or this is really hard, but I'm gonna do it anyways?
Well, actually, every day was something new. Every day we had a new challenge, and they were called primes. So we had our swimwear competition, we had the fitness competition, we had interviews. Every day also the media. Every day I had 5 interviews from the media, and we did photo competitions every day and just fun photo shoots, and we were judged the whole time on our behavior and everything. And and then there was the talent, and then there was eco dress, and then there was rehearsals too. And so every day was very intense. I think the hardest part was that my body was giving up on me. I actually started getting a little sick. I lost my voice during the competition, and so I was drinking hot water with honey and lemon every day, and I honestly didn't speak for 2 days because I was trying to prepare my voice for my interview and for being on stage. And then I also fell down a flight of stairs in my 60-inch heels. Oh yeah, and so that my body was just giving up on me. And then we went
Oh my God.
snorkeling one day, and I got hurt, and yeah, I every day my body just decided like, oh, we're gonna fall down a flight of stairs. Oh, we're gonna get sick today. But I was a trooper, and I did not give up. And I kept going, and I was like, nope, not today. We're still gonna get up at 6 a.m. and put on that full face of makeup and go smile for the media and go do our rehearsals until like 9 o'clock at night, and then have suppers and everything. Nope, not today. You gotta keep going. My body went through a lot
It was
of
it was like your body decided to go on a strike. Like literally,
yeah.
I'm going on strike. No more. Well, it was 2 weeks. Like you were preparing for
Yeah.
2 weeks in a row, like 24/7. Well, not 24/7, but you know what I
also-
mean. It's like,
the preparation. Oh my goodness! And on the first day, I completely killed myself because I just got off the plane at midnight, and then we drove from from Cairo to Hurghada, and so there's like a 10-hour time difference from here to Egypt, and so I was just traveling for 24 hours between layovers and time zone difference and all that kind of stuff. And so I was just finished traveling for 24 hours, and then we had to drive 6 hours to Hurghada, and then an hour later I had to get dressed in the back of the van, and then an hour later I was doing the fitness competition, and then I was going until like 10 o'clock that night. So I didn't really give my body enough time to really adjust to the time zone difference either. I was just like, go, go, go. And after the
oh
whole
my God.
intense preparing, and then the whole week of intense competition, it was a lot. I think that was the hardest part, was making my body keep going. Mentally, I was
Yeah, that's the
awesome.
warrior.
Yeah.
It takes, and nobody knows how hard it is, like to get to a pageant. Just basically before, like getting prepared for it, then just the journey to the pageant. Because in the pageant, you like during those days, you don't sleep well either, right?
Oh.
There is a lot of things to do, meetings, and then dinners, and things to do.
Pretty much have to be on 24/7. Like 24/7. You have to have that smile on your face, and you can't be tired, and you have to look like perfect, that you can, like, somebody could take a picture of you at any moment. So yeah, it's a lot, and it's a lot of pressure too. And I don't think people really understand how much pressure it actually is. And yeah, it's hard. It actually is, mentally, physically. Yeah.
Now, were you the early bird between you and Miss South Africa? Were you the early bird?
Oh yes, I am always like minutes early for everywhere. I am very prominent about that. Yeah.
That's really important. Like if you get later to, for the pageant, they take that into account a lot. So I'm glad you were the early bird.
Yeah.
Now, Janaya, other than like this year, of course, you're going to continue with the platform of Imagine a World of Kindness, but pageant-wise, any plans for this year?
There's a few competitions I can't really say yet, and a few places that we're considering maybe for the summer or later fall. But right now, with the world we're living in now, everything is so unpredictable. But right now, I'm just taking it day by day, and I'm still going with my platform and still doing my charity and my volunteer work. Yeah, the grind don't stop. Got to keep going every day. So.
See that, guys? Like, you gotta take that as an example. 16-year-old, and she's doing a lot of things like, politicians. She's probably doing more.
Well, because, I have a part-time job, and then I'm going to high school, and then I do probably about 10 hours a week of volunteer work, because me and my mom, we sell masks and sanitizer and hand sanitizer, or mask sanitizer, and we sell it, and we donate all the money to charity. And actually this year, in the year of COVID, I was actually able to raise over $30,000 for charity that I was able to donate.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's a really rewarding thing. So yeah, my
See what I
mom.
tell you guys? It's not just they're beautiful and amazing and they know how to talk really well. They also do things for their communities. They help. They are
Hmm.
women who help a lot. And
See,
in your case, you're a girl who helps a lot, right?
yeah, I before I did a lot of charity work and stuff, but as soon as COVID hit, it kind of threw a monkey wrench into everything, and I didn't know what to do anymore because I couldn't go to events. There were no events to go raise money for these charities or causes that I wanted to support. So that's when we came up with the idea of selling masks and sanitizer. And so then I also connected it to my platform because on every single hand sanitizer bottle I think I've sold probably about 1,500. And every single bottle I wrote a different positive quote. Just like you're amazing, or like keep going, you got this, on every single bottle that I've sold. And then all the proceeds are donated to charity. So yeah,
Wow,
just
that's
uh, being kind too, and then also promoting the charities that I work with. So
I think you should continue. You should go on doing your charity, promoting your platform, because it's not only at a level of pageant. You're really causing a very positive impact in so many people. You have no
uh,
idea. Like people
thank
need that.
yeah. Well, it's very rewarding feeling. I remember the day because I donated over $11,000 just to the Children's Wish Foundation this summer, and I did some research, and the average wish actually costs $10,000. So I alone was actually able to grant a child a wish this summer. And so I remember that feeling of when the lady passed me like the bank draft of how much like was actually in the account that we were donating, and I read it. I think my mouth actually hit the floor, and I literally was jumping off the walls all the way back to the car, just like, oh my god, can you believe we did this? And that was only like 3 months of doing it, and I was like, can you believe this? Like, mom, can you believe that this actually happened? It made my entire month. It was incredible.
That happens when you work with conviction
Hmm.
and passion about something. In
And
this case, is
yeah,
helping others.
just even the support of my community too, because I live in a small town, so everyone gets on board with me and everyone helps me. Like the college helped me, the fire department helped me. I have my masks and sanitizer in almost every business that's open too in my community. So everybody supports me, and it's the best feeling, and yeah, it's nice.
Janaya, and this is a very, very important point, and I wanted to ask you about that since the very beginning of the interview, which is because in a world of beauty, it's really easy to focus on oneself, right? And the fact that you see yourself as a beautiful person,
Hmm.
um, and you feel like there's nobody else around, and everything is about you. I'm not talking about you specifically, just about each of us. Did you ever at some point did you ever feel like that was alluring you, like you were allured to that, or you were always, no, this is reality, the world, it's not turning around me, it's about everybody else as well? Did you ever go through that situation when you started pageants?
Honestly, sometimes, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I kind of be like that a little bit. Sometimes I like to feel like I'm the main character, and then I'm like, yeah, calm down. You're not the main character. You're not the main character. But I don't like. I kind of like. There's a difference too. I've learned that there's a difference between being confident and being cocky, and there's a very fine line. And I know, like, there in pageants, you have to be confident, and not all the contestants are confident, and some of them are, and some of them like to even pass that line and like to be cocky. And so I've met a lot of people like that, and so I just reflect that back to myself, and I remember how that made me feel to be around them. And I didn't like that. And I don't want to be like that. I want to be that kind of energy that attracts people and wants people to make people feel included. So that's kind of what I always try to be like. But like everyone else, sometimes I'm human and sometimes I like to slip up and think that I'm the main character, even though I know I'm not.
The Cinderella story, I think everybody's attracted to it, right? We all want to be her at some point.
That movie moment, everyone wants that. Like, it's about me. And, like, the time, I like to give that time that I feel like that I get my like Cinderella moment is when I'm on stage and I get to be in my gown, and it's that competition part where you have to like almost prove to the judges like, yes, like I am the best contestant here, like I am the next Miss Echo Teen International, like this is like why you should choose me. And so that's kind of when you get like your Cinderella moment in the pageants, is when you're on stage. But outside of that, you still like you're a queen, so you have to, and an influencer and a public figure, so you have to have that welcoming energy about you, and you have to share kindness with the world. And there's some girls that are very self-centered, and I don't want to be like that, and I don't want to be portrayed like that. So I really try to not be like that. And it's very important to always stay humble and kind. That's one of my favorite quotes.
That's true. And Jenia, just for closing the interview, I wanted to, because there is, and this is a topic that's been running for so many years in the world of pageants and beauty, and it's that many people think that pageant girls are airheads, right? Like there is nothing on their brains. Once I was teaching Spanish to a group of women, and one of I was describing jobs, right? And that day I was like, okay, Miss Universe. And one of them said, and I will never forget that, she asked, is that even a job? I was like, ooh, yes it is. So I started to explain to them why it was a job, right? Like everything they do. So what would you say to the people that still believe, that's an antique thought or way of thinking, that beautiful women, they have no brains?
Well, I think people that think that about pageants and think that title holders are, I guess as you say, airheads, actually have probably never met a title holder, or met the wrong ones, or have actually never seen a pageant. Because pageants, they're called beauty pageants, and they're called beauty pageants for a reason. And people get this misconception that beauty is an outer thing. Beauty is about the way you look. But what I've learned about pageants, and what I really try to portray as a beauty title holder, is that beauty pageants are not about the outer beauty. Yes, I guess that is a factor in it too, but it's mainly, honestly, about the beauty that's on the inside. And so that means you have to have, it's somebody who is well-rounded. That is the girl who, at the end of the day, goes home with the crown. It is the girl who is a queen on the outside and a queen on the inside. Somebody with a beautiful personality, and most importantly, somebody with a beautiful brain and has thoughts and opinions, because that's what you represent. You not only represent women with beautiful brains and beautiful minds and opinions, but you represent people and human beings, and that's what we are.
That's very well said, and that's why she's a really strong contestant. Girls, start fearing her. Well, thank you very much, Jenia. That was amazing. It was an amazing time with you. I really wanted to, to carry out this interview because I think you're the first Miss Echo Teen Canada. I wanted to hear your impressions about the pageant. I also wanted people to get to know you more, and it's been great to have you in my show.
Thank you. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was. Well, thank you very much, everybody else, for watching the show. Remember, share and like the video. My guests, as I said at the beginning of the interview, they are amazing. Janaya is an example of that. And remember to subscribe and hit the bell so that you can get new notifications on more and more beauty queens that I'm going to bring to my show every week. Thank you very much. And that was Jenia Iverson, Miss Echo Team Canada. See you in the next episode.